everyone. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kabrea Thomas and I'm the CEO and founder of Signature Scents by Hand. We are a Brooklyn-born fragrance shop, and what we do is we create scents using all natural and vegan-friendly ingredients, and everything is made by these hands. So before we get started with this video, I actually wanted to share my scent of the day. And my scent of the day is actually the Nicole perfume, which is a part of our Nicole fragrance collection, which is available on our website at signaturescentsbyhand.com. And this actually has been my scent of the day for almost the entire week, I want to say. In the tri-state area, it's been pretty chilly, really breezy. It's fall is here, and I've been kind of wanting something to kind of mellow out the chill weather for me. And so the Nicole fragrance has definitely been doing that for me. Okay, so today's video is going to be about 15 to 16 questions. It'll be like a cute, quick Q&A type of video. I've included some questions that I do get asked a lot, so I just wanted to put all of that in a video and for you guys to also get a chance to learn more about me as well. So the first question I have here is, what has been the biggest learning since becoming a CEO? So I truly believe that there are pros and cons when it comes to being a CEO. I feel like also I've learned a lot more now that I have more responsibilities, like raising a human. So one thing I will say is just trying to find a balance, a healthy balance between having a personal life, being a mom, relationships, and then also having a self-care time for myself too. So making sure I strategically take time out for each and every one of those things, because those are really important when shaping myself. I've also learned as a CEO, you have to be extremely patient, because everything comes with patience, right? So creating a product, having an idea, creating the logo, creating the font, finding the bottle, like everything is a process, and within that process you have to be patient. So I've learned that being a CEO comes with a lot of patience. Also, I learned that you have to be continuously a student. So while I may know a lot in the position that I am in now, there are always going to be things that I may not know. And so I always have to have that student mentality when it comes to creating and gaining knowledge from others. I just always have to have that student mentality, because ultimately we don't know everything, right? So I think those are the main important key things that I have learned when it comes to being a CEO. You have a secret talent that no one knows about. So So I will say one of my secret talents that many people might not know, I will say people who know me very well might know this, but I love to color, I love to paint. I'm not the most artistic person, but I do love to create, and it helps me during stressful periods. And when I say create, it doesn't have to be necessarily work related, like making fragrances or anything like that, but just using my hands and using a paintbrush or a crayon or a pencil or whatever the case may be, and just putting whatever is on my mind onto the paper and just kind of being blank and just creating. So I will say those are one of my secret talents. What do you do for fun? So I definitely love to color for fun, and also when I find myself stressed out. But I am really heavy into music, and I love R&B music. I love pop music. I love music in general. So I absolutely love to go to concerts. That has been my thing. I have been making it my thing for me for this entire year. So that's one thing that I genuinely really love to do. Do you relax? That's a good question. So when I'm not on mommy duty, for me, relaxing can be cleaning, listening to music, meditating, coloring. Sometimes I'll just be, I like to take walks. Sometimes I just like to drive around, just listen to music, and just not necessarily do anything per se, but just let my mind kind of wander. So Those are some of the things that I like to do for fun. It may not sound as fun, but it's fun for me because I feel like consistently I'm always being overstimulated. So to have a moment where my mind is not being stimulated and I can just wander and just be around nature and just be in tune with music is actually really soothing for me. What was your first job? So my first paying job actually, this was actually when I was in college and I was working on campus. There was actually a school next door to the university and I was working with students. I was kind of like a helper when it came to it, I guess you can say. I don't really remember what the actual position was called, but I was just kind of like a student helper, and it was with pre-K kindergarten students. So I would help the teacher when it comes to like helping with the assignments, helping with the students, watching them during playtime, and things of that nature. So that was actually my first job, was working with kids and toddlers. So the next question is, what's the craziest thing you have ever done? I'll say recently, actually last year, I had taken a trip by myself to Puerto Rico for my 29th birthday. And I basically, within the trip, I think it was like 3 or 4 days, and each day I had something scheduled. And I think this was like maybe the second day I had scheduled, what was it called? Zip lining. Yes, zip lining. And so I'm extremely afraid of heights, and I think that also being a mom too has made my fear of heights heightened, because now in my head I feel like it's a life or death thing, right? And so I did zip lining, but it was called, I think it's called a zip bowl lining or something. I can't remember the name of it. There's an actual name for the type of zip lining I did. And if you guys know, please comment below, because I'm having like a brain fart right now. And so I had to lay out. So it wasn't like the regular zip lining where you're sitting down. I actually had to lay across flat from the stomach. And so someone who's afraid of heights, and then you're walking up and you're really, really high, you're looking down. I mean, it was so scary, but I was super proud of myself for actually doing it, because once you start, it's kind of like the thought in your head of this being a scary experience. What if I fall? What if I hurt myself? What if this happens? I started being able to let go of all my fears and actually enjoy the view. So that was one of the most recent scariest things that I have ever done. Would I do it again? Probably, because it was just a very thrilling, exhilarating type of thing to do. And now that I know how it works and how it goes, I won't be as scared as I would have for the next time around. The next question is, what gets you up in the morning? So I won't lie, guys, sometimes I have my days where I'm just kind of like exhausted, I didn't get enough sleep, and I just want to stay in bed. And so what gets me up out of bed, what gets me up in the morning, is honestly, I just really think of my daughter. I think of everything that I've accomplished thus far, and just kind of thinking really like, I can't stop now. I got to keep going, because I'm almost reaching that goal that I want to reach. And so I know that if I take a step back today, or if I sleep in, maybe I won't reach that goal. So I'll keep in mind that, like, more than likely I have days that I've set aside that are like my self-care days, but then sometimes those days that are not self-care days, I'm just like, oh, I want to stay in bed. So my daughter honestly is what really motivates me, and just also thinking back of what I've accomplished thus far, and just getting back into my ambitious mind state that I can't stop now. So that's really what gets me up during the morning. So the next question is, what motivates you? So that's kind of like, I kind of answered that in a sense, because it's my daughter, everything that I've accomplished thus far, and just knowing that right now I have to grind and hustle as much as I can, so that way when I reach my goal, I don't have to go hard as much as I did. I mean, still I'm gonna keep going, obviously, but I won't have to put in as much work as I am now then. So the next question is, what's the hardest and easiest part of being a CEO? So the hardest part, I will say, is managing your time, managing yourself, because you are the boss. You have to know how to prioritize things. Also, being extremely consistent, I think is really important. And then also knowing how to manage and build a team, because the people that are surrounded by you look up to you. And so you have to be a good role model. You have to put your foot down with certain things. And I would say those are some of the hardest things when it comes to being a CEO. Some of the easiest things, I think, having the flexibility is amazing. Being able to do what you love continuously and pay yourself is an amazing thing. And then also, I feel like just the idea of having the freedom, the headspace, I feel like is a little bit more healthier, because I think as a CEO, you're thinking about things that are really important. You're thinking about tasks that need to get done, and you just kind of just do it and go for it. I mean, everything is a learning curve. Everything is a learning experience. Everything is trial and error, so you're learning as you go. And I think that's a hard thing, but also a really easy thing, because once you see what you made an error on the first time, you're not going to do that the next time. You might make another error, but then you learn again, and you just kind of keep going with the flow and keep moving. Everything is just a learning experience. So I think that's a con and also a pro when it comes to being a CEO. Do you ever experience burnout, and how do you handle it? Yes, I do. Absolutely. I do experience burnout. I think I even experience burnout more now because I am continuously overstimulated. And so sometimes I have to force myself to take a mental note, take a step back and say, hey, Kabrea, you know what? You're not up for doing X, Y, and Z today. Let's try again tomorrow. So when I have those burnouts, I don't force myself to do things that I don't want to do, just because I prefer to get the work done when my mind is at that headspace to do things. So that's usually what I do. I take the time out to pour back into me, do self-care, meditate, spend time with my daughter. Sometimes I'm just in silence, and just kind of take that moment, take that breather to get my mental back together to do what I need to do. So those are some of the things that I do when I experience burnout. The next question is, can you ever shut off fully? So the answer to that question, the answer is no, you can't really shut off. I mean, I have my moments where I do have my me times, but there's always tasks lingering in the back of your head, what you need to do. The only time I can really shut off is if I'm in an environment where there's absolutely no Wi-Fi or anything like that. But other than that, like, your mind is always wandering. Maybe I might have moments where my brain might not be on entrepreneur mode, but then it always turns back on. I'm always thinking about, oh, did I send out this email? Did I do this? Did I respond to this person? Oh, did I talk to this person? Did I have this meeting? Did I schedule this meeting? So on and so forth. So my brain is always constantly running. But I will say it's different from then to now, because now I know how to turn it on and off. So to answer your question, no, it's never fully off, but there's moments where I can turn it on and off. Okay, so the next question is, what were some of the challenges that you faced? So when I first started out Signature Sense by Hand, one of the challenges that I faced was how to get started. I had absolutely no idea how to get started. I remember doing as much research as possible as I could. And it was one of those things where, like, do I wait to start or just do it? And so I kind of just did it and just learned as I go. Again, like I said, everything is really trial and error as an entrepreneur. So I think that was my first challenge, was just starting. Two, the next thing was realizing that sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes people don't take you seriously in the beginning. I think it's a common thing where people start businesses and they're really, really excited about it. But then when they start to see no results, or they don't hit the goals that they expected, then they start to say, hey, maybe I need to be a little bit more realistic. maybe I'm dreaming a little bit too high. And so you start to dwindle down. And then, before you know it, now you're not doing your business anymore. Now it's just a dream that you had, and now you're not accomplishing anything. Let me see if I can think of another challenge that I faced. Starting out, so I've always been an entrepreneur, but starting out, I started off as an image consultant. And so that was more so a service-based business, whereas Signature Scents by Hand is more so a product-based business. So those are two different types of businesses. Yes, it gives both clientele the same feel, like you want to feel good about yourself, because image is always everything. And I believe that image can really help and impact how you feel on the inside. So maybe you might not feel good on the inside, but seeing your outer appearance might make you feel good, so good that you start telling yourself, like, you know what, I do look good, I do feel good, people do love me, I do love myself, and so on and so forth. So sometimes for some people you got to start from the outside and work your way in, and some people got to start from the inside and work their way out. It just honestly really depends on everyone. So neither here nor there, that was kind of the same concept for both businesses, but it's different when you're doing something service versus product based. So now when you're doing product based, you got to think about how much you're spending, right, on your product, how much you're going to charge people, packaging, labels, shipping, like all these number factors that I didn't even think about until I got to that process. So that was a big challenge that I faced when it came to Signature Scents by Hand. What is the most important skill for a CEO to have? I feel like I answered this question already, but I want to say the first skill is a leadership skill. So you have to be able to be a leader who has done the hard work and has proven that doing X, Y, and Z can get you to A, B, and C. And so you have to be able to show that to your employees. I think also, for me personally, I believe that CEO is just a position, right? It's a name because you were the first starting person of this company, right? But then you have employees that you hire that help to continue the business that you've built to keep growing. And so I think it's really important to have some form of a relationship with your employees, obviously a professional one, but also taking care of them and their well-being and being concerned, because when you have employees that you care for, basically it's like a family, So I think that's a very important skill, leadership skill, learning how to prioritize things. And then lastly, I know I said this before, but having patience. I think patience is key, because when you're doing things consistently and you're having patience and you're delegating tasks and you're seeing what works and what doesn't work, then you have a better chance of the outcome that you want, versus just saying, hey, this is not working, I tried it one time, hey, it's not working, I tried it one time, and not saying, okay, well, let's see how I can maneuver things around and change things around and see, maybe if I take this obstacle out, will this have a better outcome? So those are some things that I think that's really important as a CEO. And then also, still again, I'm gonna have to go with having the having that student mentality. So always learning, always taking in information, and always growing as a person, as a business, as an individual, I think is extremely important. And then let's see, my last question here. How did you grow into your role as a CEO? Honestly, I want to say through trial and error, because the person that I am when I first started Signature Scents by Hand to now are two different entire people, right? There were certain things that I was learning and growing and building and doing, and then now there's things that I have knowledge on already that I wouldn't do because I already did that then, if that makes sense. So I mean, I just kind of grew into the role just really by trial and error, and the things that I have experienced, the people that I've met, and things of that nature. So yeah, I think that's it, guys. Those are all the questions that I have. If you guys would like me to do this again, definitely comment below. If you have any additional questions that you would like me to answer, comment them below. I hope to see you guys again. And also let me know, what is your scent of the day? What have you been wearing? How do you feel? Where are you from? Where are you located? Let me know. Please be tuned for some more videos. If you haven't, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, follow us. And thank you guys so much. Have a good one.